Okay, we've got the skeleton of the program here, and now we've got to fill in the recursive print reverse part. Number one, we've got to kick the recursion off by actually calling the print reverse function. Print reverse, passing the user's number. Now we can focus on the actual recursive call. Number one recursion lesson, we need a base case when the recursion stops. How about when the number is 0? Actually, I'm going to leave this out, or let's pretend we don't know this yet, because sometimes it's kind of hard to identify what the base case is in your mind until you've thought through the whole problem, and I think that might be the case here. So we'll keep these lessons in mind. Now, this says, and I've given you some clues, prints out the last digit of a number by using the mod operator to pull that digit off. And so this is, now, quickly, a review of what you do know about mod and div. So if I have a number, 7632, and I want to pop off the 2, this is like moving the decimal point off over to the left and then just taking the remainder, right? So this is the same thing as dividing by 10 and taking the remainder. That operator is mod. So if I take 7632 and I mod by 10, what that gives me is the 2. If I take 7632 and I then divide this by 10, integer division, remember, it gives me back the 763, which is the part that's left over, not the last digit. So if I want to pop off the last digit and get it, that's mod. If I want to get whatever's left, that's div. So let's just carry this out a few more steps. So if I have now 763 and I take 763, if I mod by 10, I get the 3. If I divide it by 10, it gives me the 76. If I take 76 divided by 10, say I took 76 mod 10 to identify the 6, and then the division by 10 will give me the 7. And then this last one is very important. If I take 7 and I mod it by 10, of course I get the 7, as before. And if I take 7 divided by 10, I get 0. Now I know I'm done. So this is when I know I'm done, which is why I said the base case should be 0. This is what we know about integer, mod, and division operators. So, therefore, I can say the following. Number one, use mod to pop the last digit off. So, int last digit gets num to reverse mod 10. I could do it this way. I could also just print that thing by doing this, all together in one line. If it's not important that I save the last digit for later, in this case it's not important. Okay, number 2 is I need to recurse. So number 2 and 2a are my lessons here. Recurse. Call print reverse on whatever is left over, which would be dividing by 10. So num to reverse divided by 10. Now, I've fulfilled numbers 2 and numbers 2a, which say I need a recursive call. Number 2a, something needs to change. This is a different number going in because I'm dividing by 10. So now I need number 1 recursion lesson. I need a base case. What is my base case? Well, from my worksheet over here, I can see that my base case is that I've reached 0. So this is not my base case. This is my else. I often like to put the base case first because it's more obvious what it is. So in this case, it would be else. And the if, which is the base case, and here's a couple options for you. Number 1 option is I could just return here. But if I am just saying return, then I don't really need the else. So technically, this would be optional. Often I like to have an if-else for recursion, but it's because it then identifies exactly what's the base case and what's the recursive part, but it's not technically necessary. So this is an example of when I could lose the else completely because I'm returning. If I were not returning and I just didn't want to do anything in that case, then I would have this, an empty if, which is a little bit weird in itself. So, kind of take your choice here. But if I decide to use return here, then I could just say, now do the rest of it. I know that if I'm here, and I will write this in a comment, if we are here, we know that NumReverse must not be 0. Otherwise, we would not be able to get here. Let's take it for a drive. Nice. That looks nice, except that I would like it all in one line, so maybe not print ln. In fact, this might be a good time for me to just print the end of line and then return. Beautiful. Now that I'm actually needing to do something inside this if statement, I could restructure this to look like the following. So this is equivalent. What I have here is totally perfectly fine and a good use of the return statement. If I didn't feel like doing that and I wanted an if-else structure, this would be the structure. If it's 0, print the end of line character. Otherwise, recursively print the digits. So this should have the same exact behavior as the previous. I'm going through this kind of quickly because I know you can pause the video and look back later. There we are. Next, we'll have a quick review of binary numbers so that the tracing will make sense.